Hello, beautiful friends. I am Laurel Bleadon-Maffei with Illuminating Souls, welcoming you to this episode of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, a podcast designed to help you rest, relax, and fall asleep, all while deepening in your connection with your beautiful team of angels who love you so. If we're meeting for the first time, I am an angelic practitioner, a spiritual teacher, and an encourager of souls. And I do this through one-on-one angel sessions, soul mentoring, and a variety of classes designed to inspire your spirit. And you can learn more at my website, illuminating-souls.com. But for now, the angels and I are here to keep you company as you come into a lovely experience of rest. And if you have stumbled across this podcast because you are interested in the ChatGPT conversation, you can skip ahead to that part of the podcast. There is the timestamp in the show notes, and you can go right there. And for our regular listeners, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, ChatGPT is the AI, or the artificial intelligence program that people are starting to talk about, that helps writing copy, bringing forward insight. It's amazing, and I'm going to share with you more about it a little later. But for now, the angels and I are here to help you come into a lovely expanse of rest. So I invite you to take a nice deep breath in, just allowing the love of your angels to flow to you now. And if this is your first time listening, welcome. This is a little bit of an odd mashup of two of my favorite forms of self-care: connecting with the angels and listening to sleep podcasts. So I've been listening to sleep podcasts for years now, and I absolutely love the genre. I started out by listening to Andrew Ackerman's Sleep With Me podcast for many years. That was my constant companion as I drifted off to sleep. I then expanded my repertoire to include other podcasts such as Get Sleepy and Sleepy and others. And a little over a year ago, I felt the inspiration to create my own, to add to the inventory that's out there. And so Sleepy Bedtime Blessings was born. And I had to weave in the angels because I am an angelic practitioner, and it is what I do in my day-to-day life, is teach people about how to connect with their angels. And just so you know, I experience the angels as non-denominational divine beings of light who are here to support us, infuse us with love and inspiration and healing. And so it is my joy to share these two parts of my self-care routine with you. And as I record this, I'm just feeling beautiful waves of love coming through for you. And I invite you to close your eyes if you are ready to drift off to sleep, and just take some nice deep breaths in and out, just allowing your body to come into a lovely state of relaxation. And I know some of you listen during the day, And so if you are listening so that I can keep you company, I am glad you are here too. As those of you who listen know, I am someone who loves the ritual of bedtime. And so if this is your bedtime, I invite you to cozy on up and snuggle on in, pulling your blankets up just so, fluffing your pillows up so you feel perfectly supported, and just allowing your body to let go of whatever came before this moment. Opening your heart because this moment is filled with so much love for you. And so let's just take some nice deep breaths in and out together. So as I record this, we are in the middle of December. We are coming up on Hanukkah that begins this weekend. And we're about a week and a half away from Christmas, and then another week away from the New Year. And I am someone who loves this time of year. It feels to me that the energy becomes lighter, and somehow it becomes easier to tune into the vibrations of hope and lightness of spirit. My husband and I started watching Christmas movies about a month ago. My husband loves Christmas movies. So we made it through all of the Christmas Carol movies. We did a lot of the Charlie Brown movies. We haven't yet watched It's a Wonderful Life. I have a feeling that will happen this weekend. But it just seems to be a lovely time to get dreamy and soak up the goodness of the holiday season. And I also recognize that the holidays are hard for some of us, depending on where you are on your life path. For instance, if this is your first holiday season without someone you love, I can appreciate the tenderness this time of year will bring forward for you. And so I send you extra waves of love. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the angels in to be with us now. They are already here, but I love the ritual of inviting them in. So I invite you to close your eyes if they are not already closed as we call ourselves forward into the heart of God. And beautiful angels on high, I invite you to join us here. And I ask that you infuse this broadcast with waves of love, that you bring forward healing light wherever it is needed, and that you help clear from our energy fields anything that does not belong to us and anything that does not serve our highest and best good. Angels, I ask that you bring blessings to each of our beloveds listening to this transmission. I ask that you bring to them waves of inspiration, goodness, and lightness of spirit. So, dear ones, just take some nice deep breaths in and release. And if you have any prayers or intentions you would like to bring into the sacred circle, I invite you to share them silently with your angels and God now. And they will receive them as they always do, with open hearts and love. And I just have to say, so much energy is flowing through right now. As some of you know, I get these huge waves of heat moving through me when the angels are here. And it is so warm right now. I feel the vibrancy of the angelic love flowing through for you right now. So just receive, and I'm going to receive with you. The angels ask permission to place hope in your heart. They remind you that you are a beloved child of God and you are precious in this world, and that your life is opening up in wonderful ways that you cannot even yet imagine. That all of us in our own way, we are coming into that place of new beginnings that are often symbolized in the new year. And one of my favorite ways to contemplate life is with a sense of wonderment that there are still things that we get to discover about ourselves and this world that will delight us. So things we may not even know yet are blossoming open within in ways that will bring us so much joy. I don't know if I've shared this story with you before, but many years ago, Wes and I were at a New Age retail show. And so there were all kinds of vendors there. And there was this one woman who sold what she called prayer bead shawls, something like that, prayer beads or prayer shawls. And they were these very long strands of beads, several feet long. And the beads were remarkable. Every bead was different, and every bead shawl was unique. And I could feel the energy of them. And I asked her, when did you learn to do this? How did this come to you? I don't know why I thought to ask her that question. I was just so enchanted by what she was creating. She was an older woman. And she said, I didn't pick up a bead until I was in my late 50s. She had been a hospital administrator, and she retired. And she took a beading class, and this is what came to her. And I loved that story because I was in my early 40s probably when I heard it. And this idea that there would still be things for me to discover about myself that could delight me made me so happy. You know, when I think back about my own timeline, I think, well, I didn't even open to my gift with the angels until I was in my 40s. You know, we are ever evolving beings. We're not static. And so when we create space, we continue blossoming open. I think of this podcast, right? I didn't know what this would become. I had a vision and I made my way forward, and here we are. To think that, oh my gosh, you guys, I think this is my 111th episode. How cool is that? For those of you who don't know, in angel verse, 111 is a sacred angel number. So that feels just perfect for where we are now. And in tonight's story time, we're going to be exploring a new technology that is making its way into the world that has me very enthusiastic. So the new is always available to us, my friends, and we get to bring who we are. We get to bring our wisdom and our life experience and our heart and our soul into this world each and every day. And we get to dance with the beauty of this world. So I invite you to breathe as the angels and I help you remember what a beautiful, bright light you are in this world. It is truly our blessing to support you and love you. So just take another deep breath in, allowing yourself to relax and receive the waves of love. Your angels are aware of all that is transpiring in your life. They know the truth of your heart, and they are here with you, shining love upon you now. So you rest and drift off whenever you are ready. And while you do, I'm going to share a story with you. So, for our story time tonight, I wanted to share with you about this unbelievably amazing and cool new technology that has come into our world called ChatGPT. You may have heard of it already, or maybe this is the first you're hearing about it. So it's an artificial intelligence, and you access it on the web, and you can type in a question or ask it to write something for you, and it does. I'm not doing it justice, but you'll understand more as I go more into my experience with it. So it started showing up on my radar sometime last week. So that would be the second week in December 2022 on TikTok, because I'm a person who loves to watch TikToks. And several different people had made videos about what was possible with ChatGPT. One person shared that he asked it to write some kind of legal document, and it did. He asked it to write a Seinfeld episode, and it did. And so I tried logging on earlier in the week, but the server was at capacity. I guess it got 1 million new users last week. So on Friday night, I was finally able to get in. The first thing I asked it to do was to write social media posts for my podcast. I just told it its title. I have a podcast, Sleepy Bedtime Blessings. Will you write some social media posts for me? And it did. And they were really good. And I was like, what is this wizardry? What is this magic that is happening here right now? Because just as an aside, it is so easy for me to come and talk to you for an hour. But you know what is not easy for me? Copywriting. I can write a social media post if I am sending you waves of love. If I am trying to write a social media post to promote one of my classes or a podcast episode, not so good at that. I don't like that kind of writing. And it isn't in my wheelhouse to do it naturally. So then I called my husband over, and I could feel myself vibrating from the inside out. And we put in, my husband has, I don't want to really talk about what his job is, but there's some technical components to what he does, and talk about, that kind of writing being difficult. So we gave the AI just a little bit of information, very little, and asked for some help in writing some short form copy for a brochure. And it spit it out, and it was relevant. We didn't have to feed it all the specifics. It knew it already. And my husband and I looked at each other and we're like, this is crazy. So the next morning, I decided I needed more. So I asked it to write social media posts for episode 109 of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings. And I fed it the podcast main summary that's on my homepage. And I also fed it the show summary I did for episode 109. And it just first off churned out a couple simple things. Snuggle up and get ready for some sweet angelic blessings with the latest episode of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings. Clear your energy and drift off to sleep with the help of the angels and some retro TV nostalgia. Turn into Sleepy Bedtime Blessings for a cozy night in. Here's another one. Get ready to drift off to sleep with the soothing voice of Laurel and some gentle guidance from the angels. Plus, relive some childhood memories with a look at the TV listings from Thanksgiving 1976 on Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, episode 109. And I have to say, I was frickin' delighted. That's so much better than I could have written. I ultimately could have written these, but it would have taken me time. This took all of 15 seconds. So then I asked it to do more. But wait, there's more. And I asked it to put in emojis and hashtags because I'm not good with emojis and hashtags. So, how's this one? Settle in for a peaceful night's sleep with Sleepy Bedtime Blessings. In episode 109, I bring you healing light from the angels and a nostalgic look back on what was on TV in 1976. You won't want to miss it. Hashtag Sleepy Bedtime Blessings. I mean, it's incredible. And each time it would spit out 5 different ones for me, and it took 10 seconds, like no time at all. And then I asked it to just give me a whole bunch of hashtags, 20 hashtags for my podcast. And it did. Now, from what I understand, this is what the AI told me, was that it's not connected to the internet. So it's not doing research. It's not telling me the best hashtags for my podcast. It's just giving me some lovely hashtags I can use. So hashtag stress relief, hashtag peaceful sleep, hashtag memory lane. And then I said to it, and the way you do this is you type, I said, a lot of my Illuminating Souls audience, they don't really listen to podcasts. They're new to podcasts. Could you write these to help make podcasts more accessible to them? And this is what it says. Are you new to podcasts? Cozy up and give Sleepy Bedtime Blessings a try. Our angelic host, Laurel Bleadon-Maffei, will guide you through a soothing bedtime story and provide love and blessings from the angels. In episode 109, we explore the healing power of light and take a trip down memory lane with a 1976 TV guide. Hashtag Sleepy Bedtime Blessings. Like, that's really good, right? Now, I would write this differently. We didn't really explore the healing power of light, so that's not exactly accurate. But these are really beautiful. Join us for some sweet dreams and angelic guidance with Sleepy Bedtime Blessings. Like, this is so good. Okay. And then I don't remember what I asked for next, but it shifted course a little bit. And I may have asked it to write some ad copy or a way to invite new listeners in. And this is where I started just almost gasping. Okay, these are so good. So here's the first one. Looking for a cozy and intimate way to wind down at the end of the day? Try Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, a soothing podcast filled with love and blessings from the angels. In each episode, our host, Laurel Bleadon-Maffei, guides you through a relaxing bedtime story, helping you drift off to sleep with sweet, soothing tones, perfect for listeners of all ages. Give it a listen and see for yourself. That is brilliant. And again, it spit this out in like 10 seconds. It spit out 5 of these. So again, I wouldn't say perfect for listeners of all ages. I would just ask the AI to take that out. So for instance, at one point it was writing all of these posts from third person of Laurel Bleadon-Maffei, and I said, instead, can you write these with I am? And it changed the tense on all of these in a second. This is the one that I don't know, I'm still in awe of this one. Here's another one that it wrote. Tired of staring at screens before bed? Try Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, a podcast that will help you unwind and relax in a warm and loving atmosphere. So here's where this starts getting so interesting to me. So the AI is learning as it goes. And it's not only learning from what I am giving it, it learns from everything. So this concept of tired of staring at screens before bed, that was all the AI. When I read it, I thought, of course, that makes perfect sense. This is the kind of copy I would have paid a copywriter to come up with, but I don't pay copywriters because I'm a solo entrepreneur. But if I had paid a copywriter and they gave this back to me, I would have been absolutely delighted. It's brilliant, of course, tired of staring at screens before bed. This is something that so many of us in the collective are dealing with, and the AI knows that, and it on its own spun it in to these social media posts. I can't get over it. It's amazing. You have to understand, I didn't write these, you guys. The AI wrote all of these. All I did was give it my show summary and the episode summary. And I gave it a few little prompts to help it on its way. Amazing. Here's another one. Looking for a new way to relax and unwind at bedtime? Like, that's a great opening line. I'm terrible at writing those kinds of things. And here's AI doing it for me. And then I asked it to write some Facebook copy targeting people who already listen to sleep podcasts. So, ready for a change in your bedtime routine? Try Sleepy Bedtime Blessings and discover the power of angelic blessings in a soothing bedtime story. Or looking for a new sleep podcast? Try Sleepy Bedtime Blessings and experience the power of a peaceful bedtime routine. Looking for a fresh and relaxing sleep podcast? Try Sleepy Bedtime Blessings. This is amazing that the AI is learning as it goes how to speak and write the way I would if I could write this content. Doesn't this sound like I would have written this? This is what I would have written had I had the capacity to write them. I then asked it if it would write copy to invite those of you who listen to share with friends. So, want to share the magic of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings with a friend? Invite them to join you for a peaceful bedtime routine. Now, I probably wouldn't use that because that's a little weird, but I could definitely ask the AI to shift that, and it would, and churn that out in 10 seconds. It's incredible. Okay, so that was Saturday morning, right? Just completely enchanted by the social media posts and copy the AI was creating for this podcast. It's interesting. It learns as we go. Now, if you go on to ChatGPT, there are some limitations right now, and I say this very gently. I mean, it's brand new and 1 million people just got on it. It doesn't retain from session to session with you, so every time you start a new session, you're starting over. It can get hung up. But before we get to that, let me share with you this Hanukkah story. On Sunday morning, I was inspired to ask the AI to write a Hanukkah story that I could share on the podcast. Its first attempt at a Hanukkah story was the traditional Hanukkah stuff about the Maccabees and about, the oil burning for 8 days, which is fine, but it wasn't what I wanted. There is a beautiful saying from, I think it's Rabbi David Wolf or Welp. I'm sorry that I'm not remembering his name. And he says, be the Shamish. And what that means is, for Hanukkah, those of us who are Jewish, we light the menorah. And there is one candle that is used to light all the other candles, and that is the Shamish. So the concept of the Shamish is a beautiful one. It is the light that kindles the other flames. And certainly on the spiritual journey, then, if someone knows what the Shamish is, to invite them to be the Shamish in the world is a really beautiful invitation. So I wanted to see if maybe it would write a story. I gave it the quote about be the Shamish to see what it would come up with. And I said, what if we write a story about someone who's feeling a bit lost and is inspired by the invitation to be the Shamish? So the AI brought out a story about a little boy named Aaron who was sad because of the pandemic. And the miracle of Hanukkah helped him feel hopeful again. It was a really sweet story, but not quite my vibe. What if instead of Aaron, we have a woman who's like 50 plus? That's more my audience. And let's see what you can do with that. So it came back, and we now have Sarah, who's 50. She's exactly 50. And at first the story was about how her family helped her remember the joy of Hanukkah, and she would play dreidel with her grandchildren, and she helped set up a treasure hunt, and which, again, lovely story, completely the AI's creation, but again, not quite my vibe. And then I said, what if we do a story that really focuses on miracles? That Hanukkah is really about the light. And then what I did, and I think this was important, I had a transcript of some channeling that I did with the angels. And I said to the AI, I'm going to feed you some of my language. This is how I talk about these concepts. This is what I do. And I gave it a few paragraphs of my language. Again, I wasn't writing this story, but this was just to help the AI learn about the concepts that I teach about and the kind of language that I use. And that was pivotal, because then the story started to change. And then, of course, I asked the AI to include the angels. And I described for the AI how I perceived angels. So each iteration the AI is spitting out a revised story in all of 10 seconds. I mean, this is all happening as quickly as I can type. And then I got the inspiration that each of the 8 nights of Hanukkah, the angel would bring forward a different teaching and healing for Sarah. And I typed the first, I think 3 nights. I gave it just bullet points. So I think I just said on the first night, the angel teaches Sarah about self-love and gave a sentence. And on the second night, the angel teaches Sarah about forgiveness. And each time I asked the AI, it spit out more of the story. It was incredible. And then what got so exciting is I asked the AI to then write about nights 4 through 8. I didn't tell it what those nights should be about. And the AI just decided on its own. So it came up with gratitude. The AI came up with surrender. The AI came up with connection. And then the AI came up with abundance. Now it's interesting because not all of the concepts the AI brought up were in my wheelhouse. So for instance, when it was writing about abundance, it was saying the angel helped Sarah lose her scarcity mentality, which is not something I would do. So I had it change it, but then I actually had it change night 8 to miracles. So my role in writing this, I was kind of the director, where I gave the AI the cues and I gave it some corrective feedback. And then the AI wrote this story. Now, when I read the story to you, some of this language is mine. You'll hear it very clearly. But 95% of this story was written by the AI. The only thing I did is I switched up, I reordered some of the blocks of copy it had written, but I didn't rewrite the AI. If there was a concept or something that I didn't like or wanted shifted, I would ask the AI to do it for me. And then it did. Okay, so on to the story. So again, this is the AI story that I wrote with ChatGPT. It was Hanukkah, and Sarah was feeling lost. She lived in a cozy home, but her job didn't spark her heart, and she was tired of feeling like she had to do it all on her own. She longed for a deeper sense of purpose and joy in her life. Now, I just have to say, some of that is me. I gave this language to the AI as a prompt. I said she lived in a cozy home, her job didn't spark her heart, and she was feeling like she had to do it all on her own. That part of it I helped write, but then it planted the seed for what came next. As she lit the first candle on her menorah, Sarah made a silent wish. She asked for a Hanukkah miracle, for a connection to something bigger and more meaningful. And as the flames flickered, she felt a sense of longing and uncertainty. That paragraph was all the AI. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to read it to you again. As she lit the first candle on her menorah, Sarah made a silent wish. She asked for a Hanukkah miracle, for connection to something bigger and more meaningful. And as the flames flickered, she felt a sense of longing and uncertainty. Now, I have to say, the first time the AI wrote that paragraph, they had Sarah feeling hopeful and connected, but I felt, as the director, it was too soon for Sarah to feel those things, so I made a course correction with the AI. I said instead of her feeling hopeful, she's probably still feeling uncertain, and that's when it created this paragraph for me. So let's continue. But the angels heard Sarah's wish and came to her aid. She had a special angel who was assigned to help her receive a Hanukkah blessing for each night of the holiday. On the first night, Sarah's angel taught her about self-love. She reminded Sarah that she was a beloved child of God, filled with wisdom and light, and that the world was better because she was here. Sarah felt her heart open and her spirits lift as she embraced this lesson. So I wrote that first part. I didn't write on the first night. I just said the angel will teach her about self-love and that she's a beloved child of God and the world is better. So that was me. But then the AI wrote, Sarah felt her heart open and her spirits lift as she embraced this lesson. As the nights went on, Sarah continued to learn and grow thanks to the guidance and support of her special angel. On the second night, Sarah's angel taught her about forgiveness. She encouraged Sarah to give herself permission to forgive herself for the judgments she had placed upon herself and others. She reminded Sarah that she was perfectly imperfect and that she was learning as she went, just like everyone else. Again, that part was me. That's what I had asked it to write about. Sarah felt a sense of relief and release as she embraced this lesson. So the third one, again, you'll hear that this is me. So, on the third night, Sarah's angel taught her about receiving. She reminded Sarah that she was so good at giving, but not so great at receiving. She invited Sarah to open her heart and allow divine love to flow through, filling every cell of her body, every thought in her mind, and every emotion in her heart. So again, that was me. This is the AI. Sarah felt a sense of warmth and connection as she embraced this lesson. And then I wanted to see what the AI would create for the rest of the nights. And I said, so what happens on the fourth night? And this is what the AI wrote. On the fourth night of Hanukkah, Sarah's angel taught her about gratitude. She reminded Sarah that she had so much to be grateful for, even in the midst of her struggles. She encouraged Sarah to look for the blessings in her life and to express gratitude for them no matter how small they may seem. Sarah felt a sense of joy and appreciation as she embraced this lesson. And then the AI gave us the fifth night. On the fifth night, Sarah's angel taught her about connection. She reminded Sarah that she was not alone, and that there were people in her life who loved and supported her even if she didn't always feel their presence. She encouraged Sarah to reach out to those people and to connect with them on a deeper level, opening her heart and mind to the love they had to offer. Sarah felt a sense of warmth and belonging as she embraced this lesson. Now, what's interesting about that is if I was writing this, I would have written about the connection with the divine. But I didn't want to be too course corrective here. I really wanted to see what the AI would create. So this was the AI teaching Sarah about the connection to the people in her life. As Laurel, I would have taken it in a different direction, but I still think this is beautiful. Okay, so we'll continue. As she meditated and prayed, Sarah felt the angel's presence and guidance. She allowed herself to be open and receptive to the light. She felt a sense of peace and clarity. She knew she was on the right path and that the light of Hanukkah would continue to guide and inspire her as she embarked on her new journey. This next one was all the AI. On the 6th night, Sarah's angel taught her about creativity. She reminded Sarah that she was a creative being and that she had the power to bring her ideas and dreams to life. She encouraged Sarah to tap into her inner artist and to allow her creativity to flow freely without fear or judgment. Sarah felt a sense of inspiration and possibility as she embraced this lesson. Now, I have to go back and double check this, but I think the couple of paragraphs from one of my channelings that I had uploaded to the AI for this session talked about creativity, but that the AI came up with this is absolutely something I would have written. And same thing about the 7th. So here's the 7th night. On the 7th night of Hanukkah, Sarah's angel taught her about surrender. She reminded Sarah that she didn't have to control everything in her life and that sometimes the best thing she could do was let go and trust the universe. She encouraged Sarah to surrender her fears and doubts and to trust that everything would work out for her highest good. Sarah felt a sense of peace and trust as she embraced this lesson. Again, isn't that breathtaking? The AI is writing this based on something unrelated I fed into it and asked it to create. It's amazing. All right, so we'll keep going. Over the course of the holiday, Sarah felt her heart open and her spirits lift. She found comfort in the familiar rituals of Hanukkah, and as she looked at the glowing menorah, she began to see the metaphor of the shamash in a new light. So I had asked the AI to weave back in the story of the shamash. She realized that, like the shamash, she was here to help stretch consciousness and bring more love into the world. How beautiful is this? On the 8th and final night of Hanukkah, Sarah's angel taught her about miracles. She reminded Sarah that the universe was full of magic and possibility, and that anything was possible if she had faith and an open heart. The angel invited Sarah to give her fears and doubts over to the angels and to God, and to trust that the universe was working in her favor. She also reminded Sarah that she was a miracle maker, and that she had the power to bring love and light into the world. Sarah felt a sense of wonder and excitement as she embraced this lesson. As the holiday came to a close and the final candle on her menorah burned brightly, Sarah felt a deep sense of gratitude and connection. She knew she had been blessed with a special Hanukkah miracle, and that the angels had brought her love and guidance that she had been seeking. She resolved to continue on her path, shining her light and spreading joy wherever she went. And she knew that with the help of her angels, she would always be surrounded by love and abundance. She knew that she was on the right path, and that the light of Hanukkah would continue to guide and inspire her as she embarked on her new journey. She was grateful for the lessons of the holiday and resolved to carry the light of the shamash with her, shining brightly and spreading joy wherever she went. Is that a beautiful story? So this absolutely sounds like a story I would write. I wouldn't have written it though, because I don't like writing this kind of narrative. It's not my wheelhouse. But I loved directing the story and zhuzhing it up here and there and shifting a concept. All I had to do was tell the AI, you know what, instead of saying it this way, can we say it that way? and then it would rewrite the paragraph. It was an incredible experience and really sparked my creativity. At first, it hadn't occurred to me to have each night of Hanukkah be a different theme. Now, if I were trying to write this story, I would try to figure out what each night should be and try to write each night so it sounded different from the night before. But all I had to do was give the AI a couple of prompts, and it took it from there. So that's the story we collaborated with the AI. I fed it a little bit of my channeling as I had a transcript that was not related to Hanukkah. I gave it some prompts and it wrote this story. Is that amazing? So this is what I mean. This is going to change everything. This is incredible. Now, if you are going to play around with this, just a couple of things that I noticed. The system was getting overloaded, which is understandable because people are trying to work with it all at the same time. It wasn't necessarily able to spin out the whole story at once. It would get bogged down and I would have to start over. So if you are going to be trying to write something with ChatGPT, you're going to want to copy things into a Word document. So that's what I did is I would, copy what it wrote to the clipboard and then I would move it over to a Word document. And there were times that I had to close the browser and start over, which would shift things a little bit. Now, again, these are the early days of this technology. Think about how AOL was in 1994 with a dial-up modem versus what the internet is now and social media. We're in the early days of this. It's going to grow very, very quickly. As a solo entrepreneur, I have to say I am absolutely delighted to have this as a collaborator for copywriting. There's a class that I think I'm going to be offering early next year. And one of the things that I just struggle over is my copywriting. I can do it, but it's not the most graceful thing for me. And I put in the copy that I had written for this class last year, and I asked the AI to rewrite it. And it's beautiful. And it's me. It's my voice. It's my words. It's my concepts. And it's different than what I gave out last year. So I don't know where this is going to go. This idea that the AI is learning as it goes is really cool. I have the start of a short story that flowed through me easily, I don't know, over 15 years ago. And I've never quite known where it's supposed to go. It's in one of my journals somewhere. So one of the things I'm playing with is the idea of typing it into the computer because I wrote it in longhand and seeing what the AI would make for a second chapter. Where would AI take the story? Incredible. So something new is being born into the collective consciousness right now. And I am so excited to see where it is going to go. And I invite you to get on and play around with it. You can be an early adopter of this, right? You don't have to wait for it to get commercial. It's available now. So have fun. Let your creative spirit soar and see what wants to be born through you. I love my little Hanukkah story. It feels like it's mine, so I feel like I helped write it. I feel like it's my language and my concepts. But the AI was like my ghostwriter. It's so cool. So you guys, beautiful things are being born into this world. I know a lot of things going on in the world are dumpster fires, But let's also focus on the stuff that is super cool and that spark our creative spirit. It's one of the Hanukkah miracles. So, I'm so happy I get to share this with you. I had so much fun with it this weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. So for now, I wish you sweet dreams. I wish you a wonderful rest. I remind you that you are creative and precious and a blessing in this world. And I'm so grateful for our time together. So I love you very much, and we'll talk again soon. I wish you a good rest. Thank you.